that are not used to Uzbekistan should really do some reading to understand this land system. Yeah. So basically, we have in every village in Fergana, at least in most villages in Fergana, we have people who have very, very large farmland access, meaning they don't own this land. They're leasing this land from the government, and they're farming mostly cotton. And this is all subsidized. There are clear procurement prices. So this is a heavily subsidized sector to allow the country to export cotton. And I think Uzbekistan is fifth largest cotton exporter in the world today. There is also something called Deccan farmers. These people have less than a hectare, small land. The vast majority of fruits and vegetables in the country of Uzbekistan are cultivated on Deccan land. Every household has the right to have Deccan land. The problem is that if you move to a village today or even 10 years ago, all that land might have already been taken. So there are people who actually don't have any Deccan land, even though the land law says everyone should have Deccan land. Okay. People also have kitchen gardens. I didn't put that here, but basically everyone has small kitchen gardens where they grow probably spices and their own little vegetable patches, right? Now, there is also something called sharecropping, which is actually illegal in Uzbekistan. You are not allowed to sharecrop land out. However, it happens, right? So we need to take note of that. So what that means is you will find, a household that is also a medium-sized Deccan farmer who cultivates his hectare of land with fruit trees or vegetables. But they also take a few hectares from the big landowner, the big farmer who leases from the government, sharecrop that in to cultivate rice. And they have some sharecropping arrangement with the big farmer, okay? So what I'm saying is we are not looking at land ownership in this, right? I think you get the meaning. It's not about land ownership. It's about accessing land, having access to land. Use, access and use, okay? So we're looking at that. You will also be asking about other assets that people have, whether it's a car or they have tractors or motorbikes, whether they have a tilling machine or whatever agricultural or any other implement people have. The type of house, okay, I think you already saw one of the villagers did a beautiful job. One of our teams showed us photos of a poor person's house, and they also showed us the photo of a very big farmer's house. And it was a difference of day and night, right? And let me tell you, we're not going to ask this kind of detail, but we found that in other villages, people don't even have a bathroom, okay? They have an outhouse. They have an outhouse where they go to the toilet. And inside their house, they have some kind of a drain in a room where they, bathe with a cup and a bucket. So there's no proper bathroom facilities for very poor or what we call in need or low income houses, right? So there are huge differences inside that you are not going to be able to look at, and we should also not make people feel bad. But when you look outside, you can see that their houses are terribly dilapidated and in disrepair compared to middle or better off people's houses. We're also looking at education. Where are people able to educate their children? So an in-need household or a low-income household will probably not have the means to afford the transport or the living costs to send their child to college, right? So that's another issue, the educational level and education that people can afford for their children. Health services. A better off household, a big farmer, when he thinks his wife is really ill, he can just take her to Tashkent and put her in a hospital in Tashkent and get the best care that Uzbekistan can possibly provide. Really rich people can even send them to Dubai, right? Which is what people do, or they go to Moscow, right? when people need a really severe treatment. So there are differences where people access health services, okay? And finally, there is a category that is a bit touchy. And I'm not going to ask you to probe on it even, right? But it's up to you. You are Uzbeks and you know better. But this is a very important category often, which is that people eat different types of food. I already mentioned to you that, you know, a big farmer or a Deccan farmer may be able to afford meat and good vegetables every day. But a household that is in need or low income may only eat meat once a week. Okay, so people have a very different diet. So you may want to probe and ask about this, right? This is a little tricky. So you have to play it by ear and see what you think. You don't, one thing is for sure, we never want to embarrass people. We do not want to embarrass anyone about being poor, and we don't want to embarrass anyone about being rich. And let me make that clear. There's nothing wrong with rich people or better off people, right? But just trying to understand how are their lives and their opportunities and their living style different, right? Than people who do not have the kind of access to land and income that they have, okay? The idea, remember, is for you as a facilitator to get a snapshot of what this economic profile of a village, the socioeconomic profile of a village looks like, but also to help the village themselves better understand the differences that exist between village residents. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Shurukjan. Okay, the process. The process is pretty simple, okay? You are going to introduce the session, the exercise, and you're going to explain the objective. And you are also going to make sure that people are seated by streets. This is absolutely fundamental for this exercise, okay? The reason is that you are going to take every single household head name, the cards that you gave them, and you are going to actually see where this card should be put. Are these people better off? Are they middle? Are they poor? I mean, in need or low income, right? So it's absolutely important that you have the immediate neighbors, all right, that you have each street represented, because someone who lives 5 streets away is not going to know the people in, you know, street number 5 is likely not going to know all the people in street number 1, okay? So it's very important that you seat people in their streets. The next step is going to be establishing the well-being analysis categories, right? So we have categories, which includes characteristics, which is the income, the land, and all these characteristics are the things that people have, whether it's income, land, access to land, food, education. And then the category, right, or the grouping is people are better off, middle, in need, or low income, okay? You will be discussing each household within their streets, and you have to make sure once you create all the characteristics, right, they will say, oh, the better off people have this kind of land access. They have this kind of education. They have this kind of housing and all this. You need to make sure when you put a card into the well-being category that 60% of the criteria actually fits them, right? That's the cutoff line. So if you have 10 criteria or characteristics, 6 have to apply. Otherwise, you cannot put that household into that category. And we'll discuss that when Ranojan shows us an example. We'll have a look at that. Now, please take note. We generally use 4 categories. They are better off, middle, low income, and in need. But you should know there is also something called upper poor, what we call upper low income or lower middle, right? It's not as clear cut, right? So we'll have to see if there are people that fall in the middle, And you'll be able to see that when you do the exercise, and if you need another category, a fifth or a sixth category. Okay, next, please. Okay, the potential uses. Why are we doing this well-being analysis? So one is to understand the socioeconomic profile of a community, the extent of wealth and the extent of poverty. Okay, and this profile allows you to go back in 1 or 2 years, and you can also see if there has been any upward or downward mobility, meaning, is anyone slipping into poverty or is anyone coming out of poverty, right? It helps you actually to see that. It also helps you to identify interest groups, okay? People that are like in need, the people that are in need at the very bottom tend to be elderly people whose children have moved out, or they're widows or widowers, right? Or disabled persons, right? So you kind of get to see a particular group of people. So when another NGO comes to this village, right? And this is one of your jobs, to make sure that the MDU understands that when any organization enters their village, they should be sharing all this analysis, right? It doesn't have to be done again, right? So that a new organization can very easily see who are the different kind of people that live here. It also helps you understand relations between better off and low income groups. When you're doing this well-being analysis, people will be discussing how the low income group depends on the farmers, okay? So you'll begin to see how many people in this village depend on 3 or 4 or 5 people for work all year, okay? So it'll give you a sense of what are the kind of dependency relationships that exist in a community, right? This again will help you understand, why do people not speak out freely when you are conducting a meeting? Because they depend on these 2 people that are also sitting in this meeting, right? So this is why we want to know who are these people that have been elected. We're actually going to circle the MDU members and the MCA members in this well-being analysis to find out from which class they actually come, okay? It also helps you to identify the poorest people for safety net schemes. You know that the MCA has to identify poor people for safety net schemes. So this is a way to also double check whether the MCA is identifying the correct people or what's going on here. Okay, so this is basically, I think this is the last slide, Sharukjan, just have a check. Yep, this is the last slide, thank you. So let's leave the presentation here for a minute if we need it. I'm gonna open the floor to see if anyone has questions. Appa, go ahead in Andijan.
Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli hamkasblar, Birgitta xonim. Men Andijondan fasilitator Boltaboyeva Hilola. Mana kecha bizga berilgan ilovani o'qib o'rganib chiqdik va bunda boshidan hamma qilinishi kerak bo'lgan vazifalar ketma-ketligi ko'rsatilgan va menda ikkinchi harakatda vaqtincha mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi ayol a'zolari bilan farovonlik tahlilini o'rtoqlashing va ularning fikrlarini o'rganing deb yana berilyapti. Biz birinchi harakatda men shuni aniqlashtirib olay degan edimki, bunda birinchi harakatda hamma teng qatnashadimi, ayol erkak ili erkaklar alohida ishlanadi, erkaklar bilan ayollar bilan alohida suhbat o'tkaziladimi, shuni aniqlashtirib olay degan edim. Rahmat.
Yeah, I highly recommend you do it at the same time, if possible. Again, this is our COVID manual, but I think you are really getting good with all the distancing and keeping people. So I think it's better if you do it with people together. So ignore the step that says share it with women and all that. You're going to do it together. So what you do is you organize men and women into their streets. Even in the youth should also be there. The youth should be in your meeting. So I'm going to imagine that you have like, 3, 4, anywhere from 3 to 4 to 6 to 8 people per street, depending on the size of the street, right? Remember how you have very big streets and you have very small streets, right? And in your small streets, you only have 2 members. And in your big streets, you sometimes have 4 members or 5, right? So, and that's right, because you're going to need all these people to help you do this analysis, right? So yes, everyone will participate. Everyone will know. So if we're working in my street, right, and you're saying the name, you're saying, okay, here's this name, Abdul Rahman, head of household, Abdul Rahman. Who knows Abdul Rahman? Oh, he's my neighbor. I know him very well. Then you say, okay, here's all this criteria. Where would you put Abdul Rahman in these 4 categories? And people say, oh, I would put him into the middle. I would put him into the middle. This is great. Okay, there comes Ranojan with her. Have a look at this. Okay, so this is a well-being analysis that we did in the Jizak region. Okay, and you can see. So if I were to say my neighbor Abdul Rahman, he is in the middle here. It's because he has 5 to 10 hectares of land. He has a car. I can't read it, but I'm making this up, right? So basically, I have to make sure that 60% of this criteria, right, fits for Mr. Abdul Rahman's family. And then the card is placed into this area, and later it is written. But basically, you are taking each of the cards, you do street number 1, and you discuss and do each of the cards and see where these people fit. Okay? So you can see, Ranojan, I mean, somebody, whoever, can maybe just walk us through for our international colleagues. I can find another one. I can show you also one for Afghanistan. It might be a little, interesting for you to see what this looks like in another country. I'll pull that out in a minute. But who can actually, Ranojan, can you read this and can you walk us through the main criteria here? Since you were the one who put it, do you mind just reading it out in English so that our colleagues from our international colleagues can also understand it? That would be really great.
So here the high income households, they have 30 to 130 cows. Their children study in the city. They have a good repaired house. They have 5 to 10 rooms in their house. They have 50 to 250 hectares of land. Some of them worked abroad. So mainly they are farmers or entrepreneurs. Their monthly household income is 5 to 10 million sum. It is approximately something between 500 to 1,000 US dollars. They have tractor, they have a car, and they have treatment in the private clinic. So this is for high income households. So for the middle income households, number of cattle or cows is from 5 to 10. Their children also study in the city. Their house consists of 3 to 5 rooms. They don't have land. Some of them, they work abroad. Mostly they are teachers or working in the city. Some of them are from law enforcement bodies, like a policeman. Their income is from 1 to 3 million sum a month. They have car. They usually have treatment at home or the state or public clinic. Low income families, they do have from 1 to 3 cattle. Study at city. House consists of 3 to 4 rooms and not repaired. Don't have land. Mostly they are lower staff of medical facilities, like a nurse, or they are seasonal workers. Income from 500,000 to 1 million. So it is from 50 to 100 US dollars a month. Don't have cars and they have treatment at home. And the last category is people or households in need. They have either no cattle at all or one. Not repaired or rented house consisting of 1 to 3 rooms, no land. They are seasonal workers. Their income is from 2,000 to 3,000, 300,000 sum, so 20 to 30 US dollars. No cars, and if they are sick, so they have treatment at home. That's it. And here you can see that each category, they have names. I think head of the households, if you can see here. So for all categories, all the names are written here. So that's it, Brigitta.
Okay, great. So one thing I forgot to put, it's good that Ranujan read this out. So basically, I didn't put livestock in my slide. Livestock is very important. Please make sure you ask about livestock. And the other point I noted is that the income, you should be asking about monthly income. Please put monthly income. Okay, that's going to be really important. And I'm going to email something to Sharukjan to put up. Yeah, any other questions, please go ahead and ask. Yeah, now we have all this time to really discuss any concerns you have about doing this exercise. So I really encourage you to ask as many questions as you possibly have. Any questions?
Rahmat Brigitta xonim, hozircha meni savolim yo'q. Yana jarayonda savol tug'ilib qolsa, chiqamiz. Hozir Bekzodbekka beryapman. Savoli bor.
Xayrli kech, hurmatli hamkasblar, Brigitta xonim. Menda bir qancha savollar bor edi. Birinchi savolim mana shu Baxmal tumanida,
Okay, great.
ya'ni Jizzaxdagi Saroy MFni farovonlik tahlili biz uchun shablon, shundaymi? Chunki adashmasam oldingi gapingizda nimadirlar qolib ketibdi dedingiz. Ya'ni aytmoqchi bo'lganim, biz xuddi mana shu ko'rinishdagi ma'lumotlarni olib kelsak bo'ldi, asosiy maqsad. Birinchi savolim shu.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, continue. Yeah, so look, I'm just looking at this outline. I'm looking at what we put here. So basically you're going to brainstorm, right? With people, what makes us different, right? You saw this annex which asks people, are we all the same or are we different? And people say, no, we are different. And then you say, how are you different, right? People say, oh, some people have lots of farmland, like there's these farmers, and then there's people who just have 1 hectare. Okay, so there's land difference. So you write down land, right? And then they say, oh, some people have lots of livestock and cows and sheep, and some people just have 1 cow and have no sheep, right? So you write livestock. First, you write the big categories that people tell you is what makes you different, the big categories. And people will say, oh, some people have really nice houses, big houses, and some people have houses that are like falling apart, right? They're constantly fixing the houses. And some people have like college education, and they can get a really good job in Tashkent or somewhere else. And some people, you know, they just finished the basic schooling. And some people, right? So you keep asking and probing until you have all these differences about income and employment. And when people stop and you are missing a major incomes, like a major criteria like income, or you're missing health, you need to ask them, do we all have the same income? People say no. So you put down income. Then you ask them, do we all use the same health services? People say no. Some people use the health clinic 7 kilometers away. Some people just use a home remedy. And some people go all the way to Tashkent, right? So this is the way you keep asking. Does that answer your question? But you need to come up with all of these criteria that I have put. You may not have to put food, but the ones that I put on my slide presentation and adding livestock, you should probe all of those, please. Does that make sense, Aka?
Tushunarli. Yana bitta savolim bor. Brigita xonim, hozirgi
Okay.
ushbu farovonlik tahlili bo'yicha eng asosiy indikator nima bo'ladi bizda? Shuni bir aniqlashtirib bersangiz. Misol shaxsan menda, misol uyimda qoramolim yo'q, lekin misol oyiga 10 milliondan ortiq pul topaman. Lekin misol uyim kichkinaroq. Bu yerda asosiy indikator
Right.
nima bo'ladi? Daromadga qaraymizmi yoki yana qo'shimcha manbalarga qaraymizmi? Shuni bir aniqlashtirib bersangiz. Chunki
No, I told you it's 6 out of 10. It is 6 out of 10. So if you can Shahrukh-Jan, can you go to my slide, to the slide presentation for a moment? Thank you, Shahrukh-Jan. And can you type something into slide number in one of the slides, please? Can you type livestock in there? Can you open it and then type something that I'm telling you to type, please?
Which slide? Any?
No, I want you, the second slide, please. This number 2, please. Shahrukh-Jan. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Can you just press down after income, push down everything and type livestock after income? Yeah. Just push it down. Yeah, and type livestock. Perfect. That's it. Thank you. So look, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 9. Okay, if you include food. If you don't have food, you have 8. So if you should have 60%, okay? So if you say,
Brigitta,
yeah. So
Yeah,
you
but-
should have at least 5 of the 8. Hang on just 1 second. You should at least have 5 of the 8 indicators. Yes, Ranojan?
sorry for interrupting. So regarding the food, you can in breaks put probably meat, because when we met with low income households of people in need, they told that they haven't got their like a meat food with a meat or with a, I don't know, lamb or beef for 3-4 months already. So they
Okay.
couldn't afford buying meat.
So if you have, so this is my point. Thank you, Ranojan. So basically, if you have 9 criteria, right, then you need at least 5 or 6 criteria need to be there. Okay? Look, trust me on this. It's you are not going to have a problem. This is going to be obvious, right? You might think it's not, but it's going to be very, very obvious when you live in a village where people fit. Okay? Any other questions? Any other question? Does that answer your question? Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yo'q, men ikkinchi savolimga javob ola olmadim. Yana bir marta qaytaraman. Bizda farovonlik tahlilida boy va kambag'allarga ajratish uchun asosiy indikator sifatida nimani olishimiz kerak? Daromad, yer yoki uy, qoramol nima aynan? Shuni tushuntirib bersangiz. Mana misol men Brigita xonim oyiga 10 milliondan ortiq daromad topaman. Misol uyim 6 sotix bo'lishi mumkin yoki boshqa. Misol, lekin meni qoramolim yo'q. Mana misol, menda qoramolim yo'q. Mashinam misol yo'q. Borib Toshkentda davolanib kelaman. Men qaysi biriga kiraman? Lekin misol meni bitta qo'shnim bor. Uni 50 ta qoramoli bor. Lekin u borib rayon tibbiyot muassasasida davolanadi. Farzandlari maktab rayon maktabiga borib o'qiydi. Uyda bitta danasi bor. Kim bu yerda boy?
I don't know. I can't really tell you so simply, but what I'm telling you right now, if you can do 5 to 6, but look, it's not defined right now, right? Because this is just the broad categories. When you get the definition, right? If you go back, okay, Shahrukh-Jan, can you go back to Rano's, what Rano has sent you? Can you, Rano, can whoever, can go, can you show us the earlier well-being analysis in Uzbekistan? Whoever is handling this. Shahrukh, can you just say yes and recognize that I'm speaking to you? Hello?
I will share the screen.
Okay. So listen, can I just ask the Andijan, don't make things so complicated, and please have some flexibility when I'm telling you that if it's 6 out of 10, you need to trust me, you're not going to run into in the village, but let's have a look now, okay? You need to don't get stuck on how you need to look at it. Don't get stuck that you have to prioritize. Obviously, the most important are going to be income, livestock, type of work, and land, right? I mean, that's obvious, right? But it still means that 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 9 need to apply. Okay, Shahrukh, I think you need to take down what you have put so Rano can put hers, yeah? Shahrukh, can you please reply to us? I don't think Rano can put something up if you keep this one up, please. Shahrukh Jan?
Shahrukh. Shahrukh, вот уберите.
Shahrukh. Why don't you take the situation that you just explained to me and have a look and see how this would work in the system that you're looking at? Can you have a look at your system there at this analysis and see? I can't read everything, so I'm going to have to rely on you.
Sizni tahlilingizni natijasi menga ma'qul keldi. Shaxsan men bu bo'yicha yuqori daromadli xonadonga kirar ekanman.
Okay, and is it clear? Is it clear? Like, is it very clear that you, how many criteria of the criteria that are there, how many apply to you?
Savolimga javob ola oldim. Ya'ni bu yerda o'sha siz bizga aniqlab bergan mezonlarni nechtadiliga, ya'ni foiz nisbatida 70%ga
Okay.
to'g'ri keladigani bo'lsa, o'sha qismga qo'yishimiz mumkin bo'lar ekan. Ya'ni aniq chuqurlashtirmasdan balans bersa bo'ldi, qaysidir bittasiga. Mana shu kriteriyalar. Qaysi birida ko'p bo'ladigan bo'lsa, o'sha qismga qo'yar ekanmiz, agar sizni to'g'ri tushungan bo'lsam. To'g'rimi?
No, I'm asking you right now. Can you answer my question? You said you are in the top category. Is it pretty clear, or is there like, could you also be in the middle? Is it hard to tell, or is it pretty clear I fit into this one? That's what I'm asking. Can you tell me? Yeah. Tell me.
Hozir mana shu holat bo'yicha agar men Brigita xonimga aytgan ta'riflar bo'yicha bo'ladigan bo'lsa, o'rta daromadli xonadonga kirishim kerak. Lekin misol hamma kategoriyalari bo'yicha tahlil qiladigan bo'lsa, men albatta boshqa xonadon toifasiga kirar ekanman.
Okay. Wait, okay. We're not talking about all criteria. Nobody fits all criteria. Nobody in the world fits all criteria, right? It's an approximation and it's a 60%. So I'm asking you again, where are you clearly fitting? Nobody gets all 10 or 9. That's why we're saying you should at least have 6 out of 10 or 5 to 6 out of 9. So I'm asking you again, then where is it clear where you go? Not all, 60%, please. Also, can you wake up the Appa next to you who is kind of snoozing? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so so tell me, just tell me, do you fit clearly into one of these then? Tell me. Okay.
Savolimga yetarli darajada javob oldim. Brigita xonim, va oxirgi savolim agar ruxsat beradigan bo'lsangiz, endi to'g'ri tushuning. Mana shu hozirgi Jizzax viloyatidagi ana o'sha jadvalni bu yoqda xonadon, ya'ni xo'jaliklarni oila boshchisi kesimida to'ldirilganini shuni so'zma-so'z sizdan bilib olmoqchiman. Ya'ni xo'jaliklarning egasi mana bu yoqda ko'rsatilgan Eshmatov, Toshmatov deb yozilgan. Mana bu yoqdagi familiyalar yozilgan qismini bizga vaqtinchalik mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi a'zolari tanlab beradi.
Yeah. They are discussing each household for each street and deciding if it's 60% or not. And then that household belongs to that criteria. Now you're going to do a verification, not tomorrow, not today in your visit, but next, when we come back after Eid, you will do at least a 10% verification, meaning you will go and identify, closing your eyes, a certain number of households in each category, and you're going to physically go and visit to double check if it's correct or not. Okay? There's a verification process. So yes, The MDU members, this is why we asked for the elders, why we don't have you sitting there. If you are an Oxokol from a village, it means you have lived in that village for a very long time. If people are going to trust you to settle their disputes, right? So the idea is that Oxokols actually know people. When we don't have COVID, when we do not have COVID, then all these people, 60% of the village is actually present, and you are dividing them into their streets, and the residents are actually sitting there. But because of COVID, we cannot do that right now, okay? When COVID is over, I will come and teach you guys how to actually do this properly in the field, the way we do it in other countries right now. But the problem is COVID right now, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, is that fine? Yeah.
Tushundim. Demak, bizga hozirgi bu ro'yxatni ushbu
Okay.
tasniflashni
Okay, yep, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi a'zolari yordami bilan shakllantirib olamiz. Va yana bitta savolim, aholida endi biz boradigan hududlar endi tan olish kerak, eng og'ir hududlarga boramiz. Ularning iqtisodiy bilimi, iqtisodiy qaysi ma'noda siyosiy dunyoqarashi hamin qadar hisoblanadi. Ularda bizga tabiiy bitta nozik savol tug'ilishi mumkin. Shu savolga siz xalqaro ekspert sifatida tajribangizdan kelib chiqqan holda javob bersangiz, qishloq aholisi biz borganimizda sen bizga meni necha pul topishim bilan nima ishing bor, nima uchun kerak sizga bu ma'lumotlar degan, bu tahlil degan savol bizga berilishi mumkin va nafaqat aholidan, balki boshqa davlat tashkilotlaridan
You're not asking. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are not asking. I'm not coming to a village saying, oh, this is Monojot Moradova. Tell me what your income is. Tell me what your land is. I'm not asking that. I'm establishing categories and saying between this much income, right? And people that have this much income, people that have this much livestock, people that have this much tractor, people that have this education, blah, 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 blah. These are the better off. People with this range of income. So nobody knows what your income is. They only know they're putting the range of income you have. Nobody is asking you specifically, what is your income? And when your name is called with the name card, people are saying, oh, he has about this much livestock. He probably has about this much income. He probably has, you know, actually you're only guessing about certain things. Many things you can see. You can see the type of house. Everybody knows who has a tractor. Everybody knows who has a car in the street or who has a motorbike, right? People know if their children are in college. The neighbor knows my neighbor's son is in Tashkent, right? So basically on the income, you are asking, do you fall in a range? We're not asking about what is your exact monthly income. Does that answer your question?
Men sizni qishloq aholisiga nisbatan aytgan gapingizni tushundim. Endi men bevosita ushbu loyihani fasilitatori sifatida sizga to'g'ridan to'g'ri savol bermoqchiman. Ushbu tahlilni loyihaga qay darajada bog'liqlik joyi bor? Misol, qanaqa aloqada? Chunki men o'zim ham bilishim kerak, chunki oldingilariga bog'lay olishim uchun qaysidir jihatda men balki savol tushuntira oldimmi?
Well, okay, now here's the point. Okay, I do not want you to say this in the village, okay? Because I don't want this to be a problem that everybody now is low income. But we will use this data to identify the people that will get work from the project in the village. So when we're building a school, let's say we're building a school or we're building a road, right? The people that will be selected for the labor will come from the low income and in need families. Okay, and you will not be able to identify them unless you have this data. Okay, that's number one important point. The other is to help you understand and to help the people in the village, the MDU members and everybody understand how many people in that village are poor, how many people are actually in big trouble. They don't have, they don't have the means to go to a clinic, right? So do we need to build a clinic because they can't possibly afford to travel to a better hospital, right? So there are all these issues that are raising what is poverty, okay? Does that answer your question? It is also another way to see what the MCA is doing by identifying people for a social safety net.
Rahmat Brigitte xonim, men hozircha savollarimga javob oldim. Agar yana savol bo'lsa, sizni bezovta qilaman. Albatta to'g'ri tushunasiz deb o'ylayman.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else? Any other questions? Let me just show a couple of other slides. Shahrukh-Jan, I emailed you a couple of slides. Can you just hang on one second? We can have more questions in a moment. I just want to show you the process. I want to show you a photo of the actual process of doing this well-being analysis. So just wait one moment. Shahrukh-Jan, are you there? Hello.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I emailed another file. Can you please put that up? Can you answer?
Oh, sorry, my microphone is off. Yeah, sure, just a second.
Okay. So look, this is a picture of doing this exercise. Okay, Shahrukh-Jan, can you put it up, please? Shahrukh, you really need to talk, yeah? You need to answer. I can't.
Yeah, Ms. Munojot was assisting me in this, so yeah, here it is.
Okay. So look at this. This is a way here. This is where people are. They have not put the names yet, but they're establishing the criteria. There's a facilitator, and there's people sitting. This is actually a relatively small community, right? I want you guys to know we have done this work in 13,000 communities in Afghanistan. 13,000 communities have done this analysis. So I'm telling you, this thing works. Trust me, try it. Don't question it so much. Give it a try and see what happens. But what's happening here is that people have in the white cards, you see the white cards, right? The white cards are basically things like land, livestock, education, house, food, income, right? That's the big criteria, the big categories. And then the yellow is the detail for better off. If you are better off, your income is the range of this much som to this much som. The land is this range to this range, right? The food is eating meat anytime you want, 7 days a week. Has a tractor. Most of them have tractors. So basically, the yellow is actually laying out these criteria in detail for better off, middle, low income, and in need. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Can you go to the next slide, Shahrukh? Okay, this is what a well-being analysis looks like in local language in Dari. Okay, so you can see there's the grouping: well-off, medium, poor, very poor. Then there is the criteria, the number, the percent of people falling into that category. Then there is the characteristics, and then there's the household names. And then we've also identified the office bearers. Okay, so you can begin to see where the office bearers are coming from. Okay, so that's roughly speaking, that's it. Okay, thank you, Shahrukh-Jan.
Brigitte, can we show the from GIZAT photos of
Sure.
well-being?
Sure.
Thank you.
Brigitte, I have a statistical question.
Yeah.
I see that over 80% of households fall into the second and the third category. Can we generalize that usually this is the case, or this is
No.
just
No.
the private?
No. You cannot generalize it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it really varies from village to village.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so where is this from? This is, I think this is a Sohil place, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is Rano. So yeah, I found the pictures from Sohil.
Oh, great. So there you can see, look at this, how people are very interested. Of course, this is before COVID, you guys. This is, you can see that there's no COVID. Nobody's wearing a mask and people are sitting very close. Okay. Now, this is not ideal. I can tell you right now, this is the first time we ever did it. This is not the ideal way to do it. You see, you need the smaller groups. You need the smaller groups from the streets. So you can put actually the brainstorming all together, but you need to let people work in smaller groups. See here the pieces come together. So here's without the names. Just the basic criteria is here. Okay. Okay. Do you have any more? Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Just have a look at those photos. Now, I think you can see, of course, this is, we had terrible seating arrangements and all this, never mind that, but you can see in the COVID time, it's absolutely fundamental that we do the 10% verification, and you will be doing that verification in the days after this, okay? Okay, so I would like to know if there are any questions from you guys.
Savol manda bor edi Andijondan.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Bu batafsil ma'lumot uchun katta rahmat. To'g'risi juda ham chiroyli qilib tushuntirdingiz. Hamma instruktsiyaga qo'shimcha ma'lumot, yozma ma'lumotga nisbatan og'zaki ma'lumot biz uchun ancha qulay bo'ldi. Lekin ikkita uchta savolim bor. Birinchidan, daromad masalasi juda ham nozik masala. Masalan, ayrim qishloqdagi mahalla aholisi balkim nafaqat bizdan, balkim qo'shnisidan yashirishi mumkin. Masalan, aytaylik, To'lanboy Ergashev degan odam, aytaylik, 10 ta qorabog'li bo'lishi mumkin boshqa. O'shaning uchun shuni e'tiborga olib, masalan, faqat To'lanboy ota deb qo'ysak bo'ladimi? Familiyasini qo'ymasdan. Familiyasini bilish shartmi? Birinchi masala. Shu nuqtai nazardan. Keyin qolgan savollarim ham bor, agar bitta olmoqchi edim.
No, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't. Look, this is why I'm saying you have a range, okay? And this is, look, when you have somebody, don't worry so much about this income. When somebody has a great house, they have livestock, you know, they're a Deccan farmer that produces, you know, this, most likely they fall into the income category that's already written there, right? Because income comes from what? It comes from the kind of job you have, or it comes from your land use, or it comes from, you know, any tractors you rent out. There's so many visible things. There's so many visible things, land, tractor, the house, right? There's so many visible things that help you kind of gauge what is the income of this kind of household, okay? So I think, please don't overthink this. Give it a try. Trust me on this. You should be able to do it. And if there are any problems that come up, we will see. I think Nurbek-Can, are you here in the room? Can we see where Nurbek is? Nurbek. Is he here today? No. Yeah, he's here. Nurbek-Can, can you sit down for a moment in front of the camera? Can you sit down for a moment? Because I think you are one person, like, so what we are seeing, Nurbek-Can.
Yes, Brigitte.
Yeah, what we're seeing, Nurbek-Can, is a little bit of resistance in terms of, oh, people don't want to tell income, people don't want to say this or that. Now, you have been through the process, right? You learned it, and then you facilitated a well-being analysis, I believe you and your colleagues. Can you give them some, like, what is your understanding, how possible it is to actually do this exercise? Can you help a little bit with alleviating their concerns?
Albatta endi birinchi o'rinda o'sha aholi bilan ishlayotganda guruhlar bilan loyiha haqida ma'lumotni to'liq va tafsil tushuntirib o'tish kerak, loyihani mohiyatini tushuntirib o'tish kerak va o'sha maqsadi, muhimligi.
That's not, no. I'm sorry, that's not what we're asking. I'm asking you that you learned this exercise in the classroom, just like they're learning it right now, and then you went and did the exercise. And everyone in the room is saying, oh, people don't want to talk about income, or they don't want to talk about that. So I'm asking you, what was your experience? We don't need the process. We've been talking about the process. What was your experience when you did this exercise? Did people not want to do it? What happened?
Yo'q, qarshilik bo'lmagan-u, bunaqa savol tug'ilgan. Bu narsa nimaga bu narsani qiziqyapsizlar, nimaga bu savollar beryapsizlar degan o'rinli joylari bo'lgan, ammo ziddiyat bo'lmagan, ziddiyat. Chunki o'sha aholi loyihaga kirib, jarayonga kirib bo'lgan edi o'sha. O'sha loyihaning mohiyatini tushunganligi uchun bunaqa ziddiyatli holat kelmagan. Ammo savol tug'ilgan, bu to'g'ri, bu haqiqat. Haqiqatda endi bular odam birinchi savol bergan, bu mashg'ulotni boshlaganingizda qiziqadi har bir inson. O'shanda tushuntirib, asta-sekinlik bilan o'sha buni maqsadi nima, nimaga o'rganilayotgani haqida tushuntirib berib, bu narsalarda tajribani amalga oshirganmiz. Muvaffaqiyatli ham bo'lardi. Sohil qishlog'ida.
Nurbek aka, rahmat javobingiz uchun. Bekzodman, lekin bu yerda bizda aniq savol bo'ldi. Bundan oldingi trenerimiz tomonidan ham to'liq ism familiya berilmasdan, misol, o'sha xonadonni misol o'sha To'lanboy ota misolida belgilasak bo'ladimi degan.
No, we're not having this debate. We are not having this debate about not giving the name. I'm sorry, we're not having this discussion because that's a totally non-transparent process. And we are all about transparency. And if you don't give a name, you can say anything you want, and you will have no means to verify the findings. And you need to go to 10% of all the households and verify the findings. And by having no last name, you cannot do that. Okay? And you cannot identify people that will be part of the labor scheme to work to build the school and to earn money. Okay, so these projects are also about providing labor to people. Okay, so the private contractors that are going to build the school or the water network or the roads, they have to hire labor from that village. And your well-being analysis is going to identify that labor. So when you don't have a name, how do you identify anyone? So please stop that discussion about let's not use any names. That's not going to happen. We have to have the names. Okay? Thank you so much, Nurbekdan. Yeah. Okay. Any other? So you listen, you guys. I understand that you have some concerns, but I think everything I have asked you to do so far has worked and has actually worked quite nicely. So I don't understand why you're having this hesitation. I think you should trust me when I tell you this is absolutely possible. This is about good facilitation. This is why you have already been to the village 3, 4, 5 times now, and this is not your first exercise. We wait until people get to know you, until you have built some kind of a trust relationship, and then you sit down and you do this. Now, we'll have to see how things go in Namangan, but I think for Namangan, you need to work out a little speech in the beginning to the MDU to basically tell them that, look, you know, we realized there was this resistance the other day. You didn't want to finish this exercise and all this. And we're just telling you that, you know, if you don't want to go through all this process, then we have to go to another village and work there, because this is a mandatory process to go through. Okay? Are there any other questions? Any other questions about process or anything else? Okay, why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Farg'onada bitta aniqlashtirish uchun ikkita savolim bor.
Go ahead, please go ahead. Yeah,
Indikatorlar bo'yicha hozir Afg'oniston misolini ko'rsatganingizda oq qog'ozlarda aholiga yana ham tushunarli bo'lishi uchun, aniq ko'rinib turishi uchun qo'yilgan ekan. Biz ham shu narsani A4 formatga yozib, mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi shu nima xarakteristikalarda aniqroq yozishlari uchun qo'ysak bo'ladimi?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and
Rahmat.
yeah, but remember, the white cards in that Afghanistan picture, they don't have any number on it yet. They just say income. It's just like broad. So they first brainstormed, right? What are all the things that make us different? People say income, 1 card. Livestock, 1 card. Types of houses, 1 card, right? Assets, tractor, cars, blah, 1 card, right? Education of the children, 1 card. Access to health services, 1 card. So you lay out the 9 or 10 criteria, right? Or eating meat, right? You lay them out, and then you say, okay, if I'm what about the richest households in your community? What is the income range? What is the livestock range? What is the type of house they have? What is the education their children get, right? So you ask first about the best. And then you can ask about the poor, the very in need after that, and then you can fill in the middle and low income, or you can go first with the better off and then middle and then low income. So basically you're taking each of those cards that says income, land, and you actually define it, right, with other cards and lay them out the way that you saw it in the Afghanistan photo. That is a very nice way to do it, you guys. Okay, it's a very nice question, Nargisa. Thank you. A very important question. Yeah, yep.
Rahmat. Keyingi savolim bu o'sha xarakteristikalarda yozishda mana kartochkalarga bu narsani taraqqiyot guruhiga, ya'ni mahalla taraqqiyot guruhiga biz kartochkalarni beramiz, ular o'zlari yozishadimi yoki bo'lmasam biz ularni tinglaymiz va fasilitatorlar yozib yopishtiradimi? Yig'ib oladimi?
Okay, so ideally, you would ask local people to write the cards. So like if, let's say, you know, we're brainstorming, right? And you have all the 9 or 10 criteria, income, this ready. And then you say, okay, what about a rich household? How much income they have? And then I'm one of the people in your group and I say, oh, they have 1 to 3 million so. And then you give me the card and the pen and I write it because I said it. So that is one way to do it, right? It depends on how much time you have and how proactive people are. If they're not so proactive or if they're not comfortable, it's also COVID right now. So you don't want to give people so much pen and paper, right? Because you don't want to risk being contagious. So in that case, you can actually have your helper. So Nargiza, if you are facilitating, right, and asking people the questions, you have a helper, a co-facilitator. They can be writing the card for you and putting it on the floor, okay? So I think because of COVID, I'm gonna suggest that you write the cards yourself and don't have so many pens and papers out there. Lulu. Lulu. Okay. Any other questions from you guys? Anything else you want to ask? Nargisa, anything?
Biz boshida bizga taqdim qilingan o'sha Jizzaxda qilingan familiyalar bilan, ism familiyalar bilan yozilgan narsa bu verifikatsiyadan keyingi holati, to'g'rimi? Biz bugun taraqqiyot guruhi bilan, ya'ni har bir o'sha guruh nimada 900 ta bizda 900 ta xonadonda o'sha oilalarda
You have to verify 90. That's right. That's right. You have to verify 90 households. That means, you know, you will sit in front of that well-being analysis later, like next week, when we come back from the Eid holiday, and you will have that poster in front of you. You guys will close your eyes and identify people from each category, you know, 90 households that you will go verify. That's right. And we have to insist on this because this is really important to understand whether you got it right or not.
Hozir boshqacharoq nima
Yes, correct. So the village that is 400 has to go to 40 households. The village that's 900 has to go to 90. 10% verification. Okay.
Bu keyingi jarayonda qiladigan ishimiz, buni tushundim. Bugungi kunimizda mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi
Today you're going to do. Yeah, go ahead.
bizga 900 ta xonadonni 4 ta guruh qiladigan bo'lsak agar, mana shu 4 ta guruhga ko'chalar kesimida bo'lib beradi, to'g'rimi? Aniqlab beradi. Yomon boshqacha tushunyapmanmi?
Oh, look, please don't, no. Please don't think about it like 9. No, you're not. You are not. Because when you're putting it like 900, it's so overwhelming. Think of it like a street. You have 4 or 6 MDU members, and they're only going to do it for their own street, not 900. Okay? Do you understand that? You're not asking them to do 900. Everyone is doing their own street. That's why we have everything organized by street. When you say, you are doing 900, it's totally overwhelming people. Yeah? Please don't speak like this in the village, right? You go to the village, you explain things, what is happening, the objective, then you divide them into their streets, and then you can give them their cards and they will discuss and do it for you, okay? They're not doing 900, right? So if I'm an MDU member, I may only be doing, 85 with my other MDU members. I'm not doing 900, right? Together, they're doing 900. Okay. Nargiza, do you understand?
Bizda 30 nafar mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi vakillari bor. Ularga mana shu 900 ta xonadon bo'lib berilgan. Bugungi jarayonda ular shu narsani qiladimi yoki yo'q bo'ladigan bo'lsa, nechta xonadonni ular bizga ta'riflab berishi kerak.
Yes. No, you are doing this today with them. You are sitting down and doing the same analysis I just showed you in Afghanistan. The same pictures you saw in Sokhil. You are doing this analysis today, and you're going to ask them to sit down and do the well-being analysis. Okay? By street. Just like you saw the photos, that's what we're doing today. That's the assignment for the day. Okay? Does that make sense? You are facilitating.
Rahmat, endi tushunarli bo'ldi. Biz har xil posterlarni ko'rganligimiz uchun, har xil jarayonlarni tahlil qilganligimiz uchun bizda ozgina shu ma'lumotni tushunishda chalg'ishlik bo'lib qolyapti. Shuning uchun hozir aniqlashtirish uchun sizdan yana so'radim. Rahmat, hammasi tushunarli.
Okay, great. Okay. Sure, no problem. Any other?
O'tashib qolmoqchi edim, me'mor uzr. Demak, biz mana 417 ta xonadon bo'lsa, har bittasi bo'yicha kartochkani to'ldirib bugun olib qaytishimiz kerak, to'g'rimi?
Okay.
417 tani hammasini olib qaytishimiz kerak, to'g'rimi? Hammasi
organized into their streets, into bundles that stay according to their streets, right? Please don't mix 417. Let's say you have, how many streets do you have in your place? How many streets in your village?
6 ta ko'cha bor. 6 ta ko'cha, 6 dona. 6 ta ko'cha.
Okay. So, and you will have 6 bundles, right? 6 bundles that look like this. 6 things that look like this. 6. And you're going to keep them separate. You're not going to mix them. Okay? And then you tell them, we are now discussing street number 1 or whatever the name of that street is. You open that bundle of that street and you then use the household names and you ask the people from that street to tell you where to put it. And once you put the name, you ask them, tell me about why is this household there? And then they should tell you how at least 5 or 6 of the criteria apply to that household. Okay? So if they say, this is Brigitte Bode, I'm putting her in the middle. Then I'm asking, okay, why are you putting Brigitte's name in the middle? Oh, because they have this much income roughly, they have this much livestock, they have this kind of a house. Her son studies, in Andijan city, in college, and when they are sick, they can go all the way to, Andijan city to the clinic, right? All the criteria you have to discuss for each name. Do not unbundle them and mix all the streets, because it'll be impossible to do this exercise, okay? You have to do it by street. Does that make sense? Can I get, did I answer your question?
Ha, tushuna oldim. Demak, 6 ta ko'chani bugun o'zida
Okay.
ma'lumotini yig'ib qaytishimiz kerak ekan.
Okay, I want you to, okay, please don't use this language. You are collecting information. You are not collecting information. PRA is never collecting information. We are building up a body of knowledge with the local community. We are not collecting information and taking it out. This is a process where we are working with the community to build up a common understanding of the community. This is not about taking information out of the village. Please don't think of it like this. Please don't think I have to walk out of the village with this data. This is not what we're doing. We are building up a body of knowledge that provides us an understanding of the community we are working in, and that helps local people in that community know how many people are in need, are disabled, are in a troubled position, how many people are well off, right? It's about that. So don't think of like extracting data or information. You are not doing research, right? Okay. Okay. Now, anything else? Please feel free to ask. Okay, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes time right now to discuss amongst yourself what you're not clear about, what is still a problem, and then you can still ask me another question, okay? And then I'll give you your break at 10. So let me know. Okay, let's go turn our cameras back on. Any other questions coming up? Okay, Andijan. Okay. Now, before you go on your coffee break, and then I'm going to give you time to actually practice. And I want you to really practice as a team and walk through every step of this thing so that you're sure you can do it when you get to the village. Okay. Are there any other questions that you have? Any questions? Please go ahead.
Andijon jamoasida savollar yo'q. Rahmat.
Fergana no question.
Xuddi biz ham sizlarni bir oila vakili bo'lib qoldik. Namangan also don't have questions.
Fergana, any questions? Okay, Fergana, you guys are being so, I can't believe you're not even looking, you're not listening, you're just talking. Like, I mean, so you have a private
We are listening. No question.
Unbelievable. Okay, okay. So then I'm gonna let you guys go to your break, and I'm going to ask you to practice, and I'll come back at around 11 to check in and see how you're doing. If you need anything, please make sure you practice from this whole thing from beginning to end. Okay. Okay, I'll see you after an hour after your break. Okay, bye. I'll see you soon.
aytamizki, misol bu boy mahalla bo'lsa, hammasi boy yashasa, nima qilamiz bitta uni ehtiyojini qolib, undan ko'ra boshqa qilib olib ketamiz. Shu maqsadni bilish shu.
Bayisiga borib, tashinga borish kerak.
Shu maqsadni bilish shu.
Oddiy qilib tushuntirib
Shu.
Hurmatli jamoalar, dam olish uchun, coffee break uchun va tayyorgarlik uchun berilgan vaqtimizda 5 minutdan kam vaqt qoldi. Tayyor bo'lishlaringizni so'rayman, iltimos.
Okay. How are you guys doing? Are you finished with you? Okay. Finished with your practice. Okay. Somebody sitting, turning their back to me. Whoever that is, can you turn around? Monojot, it's in your room. Yep. Okay. Now, it's 11 o'clock. I want you to do today. I would also like you to do this well-being analysis in the village, but also to go a little earlier and make sure you follow up on your resource map, to make sure you finalize your resource map. If there's anything left, engineers, anything, if you need to indicate poles or anything else that's still missing, please kindly finish that map today, because we have a lot more material to come up. And so you need to go maybe to village a little earlier today to see if you can, yeah. And I also want you to check on the MCA passport, if there's any other information you need. If not, don't bother, because we're going to collect more, more information for the MCA passport that will come from the various exercises that we work up with the people. So anyway, let me see. Are there any questions on your part now that you have had a chance to practice? Is there anything I can help you with before I leave you to go and get ready for your visit and all that? I know we have extra time today, but this is such a difficult exercise. I don't want to show you something else today. I want your head to be clear and to be really focused on this, because this is really important. It's also a bit difficult. So make sure you take a good rest before you go today.
Brigitte, may I have a question?
Yeah. Oh, please go ahead, Stanislav, please.
I just want to clarify, do we have to bring the resource map with us?
That's a very good question. Thank you very much. Please do bring it. I'm also not seeing that anyone has strengthened the resource map by putting tape on the ends and making it stronger so it can actually withstand all these visits. You definitely want to put some tape.
We already did.
You did. Okay, I'm not sure the other teams did, yes, but if you could take the map with you, that would be absolutely great. That would be great. Thank you. Any other questions? You can always call me. I mean, WhatsApp me, any of you, Monojot and Ilham. Anything else? Okay, so nobody has any questions? Okay, great.
Another one, sorry, Brigitte. like to clarify if we still one of our streets, the cards from one of our streets, and if we go to the Mahala and we still missing this, what will be that?
Stanislav, let me repeat what I understood. It wasn't that clear, so I'm going to repeat to just let me know if I understood you. You are saying, what are we going to do when we get to the village and they are not all the streets have, the cards have been collected for every street? Is that the question? Okay, well, that's a good question. And that's, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please? I missed it. Say it again. You know for sure they're missing one street?
Yes, and we can manage to bring in this visit when we go to the village.
Okay, just wait. So look, last time you went, they gave you everything but one street, right? That's what you're saying? Okay. And now, so then you asked them to please have the street ready for today, right?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully, well, you know, I would suggest, why don't you call them, okay? Call them after we hang up from this call, this meeting. Everybody should call their village. Can you guys do that? Call them, everybody, and make sure all the streets are completed. And if not, that by the time you reach there, they fill out all the names, okay? So that's a great question. Thank you for reminding me. That's a really good idea for everyone to call the responsible person to make sure all the cards are ready. Great, thank you, Stanislav. Okay, any other points from you guys? Anything else I can answer or help you with? So what is your comfort level? Can I just ask you this question? How is everybody feeling? Can I see who's facilitating? Can you raise your hand? Who are the main facilitators today? Main facilitator, okay, okay. And in who's facilitating in Andijan? Main facilitator, Andijan. Hello, Andijan. Who's facilitating? Okay, okay, okay. Can I see the helper people? Who are the helpers? The co-facilitator. Who are the co-facilitators? Ah, okay, okay. So co-facilitators have to be very quick on writing cards today and being very sharp, laying out the diagram on the floor, right? So that it makes sense. Okay, great. Okay, no questions, because I will let you go if you have no questions. Then I suggest you relax a little bit, take it easy. You have another long day. You won't come home till 8 or 9 in the evening. Remember to go early to finish your resource map. If there's anything pending on the MCA passport that you haven't done yet, please check on that. And I will see you. And tomorrow, I would highly recommend that in the morning, I'm not going to be here in the morning, but I want you to process. I want you to make the well-being poster. You know what it looks like. You have Ilham and Monarjat. You need to, they can show you how to make the poster with the percentages, the criteria and everything. So you need to make the poster. You need to write how did the facilitation go from the facilitator perspective? What went well, what didn't go well, what you want to change next time. The observers, okay? And a summary, I want you to also make a summary. What are the implications? What does it mean? What does the well-being analysis tell you about the community? What does the well-being analysis tell you about the community? Okay? And then I will meet you around 11, right? I'll give you a couple of hours, your tea break. You need a lot of time to actually. I'll meet you around 10:30, 11. And then we go through everything and I'll give you the new reading assignment. Please make an appointment when you go to village today. Can you please make an appointment? Hang on, let me just find for what you need to make the appointment. Can you please ask them, tell them that you would like to return to the village on July 23. It's a Friday in the afternoon. Okay, I made a new schedule and I will send it to you. I'll probably share the new schedule with you tomorrow. I just want to confer with Rano. But basically, your next village visit will be July 23, Friday. Okay. Okay, now one other thing I forgot to tell you. I forgot to tell you one other thing that's really important. Please note, facilitators, note this down. In your well-being analysis, when you have laid out the well-being analysis, I want you to circle the names of the MDU office bearers in one color. You can take blue. In green, I want you to circle the MDU members, those that are not office bearers. So blue color circle or the name on the card of the office bearer of the MDU. Green color is the office bearer, is the MDU member, and red color, you circle the name of the MCA office bearers. Okay? So let me repeat. MCA office bearer, red color, you make a circle around the name. MDU office bearer, you make a blue circle around the name. MDU member, you make a green circle. Okay? This way we'll be able to put on our poster where these people are. Now, in your next Friday meeting, next Friday, we're going to make a seasonal calendar. And for that seasonal calendar, you need people that sell labor. You need about 6 to 8 people, 6 to 8 people that sell labor, primarily in agriculture or construction. Their main source of income, the main source of income for next week, Friday, will be meeting with 6 to 8 people. They can be MDU members or they can be ordinary people. But you need to have people that their primary source of income is selling labor to farmers or to Deccan farmers or working in construction, not skilled. We're talking unskilled manual labor. These are generally the low income grouping. So if you have MDU members that fit this, then you can do the exercise with them. If not, you need to ask them to ask some people that are low income, selling labor, manual labor, unskilled, to come to your meeting next week, Friday. Okay, can somebody, Nargisa Jan, are you there? Can I ask you to repeat this in your own words? Nargisa Jan? Is Nargisa there? Yeah.
Hozirgi siz tushuntirgan narsalardan qisqacha qilib aytganda, keyingi uchrashuvda biz juma kunga belgilaymiz aholi bilan. Paytdan keyin 23-ga ism familiyalarda yozishda ranglarni belgilab berdingiz. Ko'k, yashil, qizil rangda. Uchrashuvga, keyingi uchrashuvga hozir mana shu oxirgi siz aytgan narsani men oxirgi nima yaxshi tahlil qila olmadim. Uzr, takrorlab bera olasizmi?
Anyone else who understood? Does anyone else who understood want to share in their own language? Anyone? Okay, so let me go ahead and repeat. For the next meeting, we are conducting a seasonal calendar, right? And you will need people, 6 to 8 people, who sell labor, unskilled, in agriculture and construction. People who sell labor, unskilled. We're not talking about mechanics, carpenters, masons, right? We're talking about unskilled labor working in agriculture, usually for the big cotton farmers, right? You need 6 to 8 people from those kind of households. Now, if you have MDU members from those households, that's fine. Otherwise, you need to ask the MDU members to bring people like that from different streets. So you have 6 to 8 people that can come and attend that session. Okay? Now, Nargisa Jan, can you now repeat in your own words? I just want to make sure we all understood, because this is kind of important.
Tushunishimcha, keyingi uchrashuvda biz o'sha mavsumiy kalendarni ishlab chiqishimiz uchun bizga 6 tadan 8 tagacha bo'lgan, ya'ni qo'l mehnati bilan asosan ishlaydigan shaxslar kerak bo'ladi. Agar biz ularni o'zimiz aniqlay olmasak, demak, mahalla taraqqiyot guruhi a'zolaridan yordam so'rab ularni jalb qilamiz.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's perfect. And the other, yeah, and I think Andijan had a question or a comment or, yeah. Oh, I see. Go ahead, please, Andijan.
Men bevosita fikr bildirmoqchiman. Ya'ni keyingi uchrashuvimizda biz o'sha yerda qishloqda yashovchi ustalar, bunday bizni tilimizda aytganda hunarmand yoki qo'l mehnati bilan shug'ullanuvchi ustalarni 6 ta yoki 8 tasini aniqlab olishimiz kerak. To'g'ri tushundimmi? Yo'q, hunarmand umumiy ma'noda hunarmand bo'ladi. Qo'l mehnati bilan shug'ullanuvchi.
Okay. So craft people, craft is in English. I don't know about your language, but in English, craft is a skill. I'm talking about unskilled labor. Okay, the key translation we need is unskilled labor. Okay, a craft is by definition skilled. Okay, this is unskilled labor. That's the definition that I'm looking for. People who harvest, people who dig the soil, people who are weeding for money, not on private land, on their own land, who sell labor in agriculture, unskilled, and who work unskilled construction jobs. Translation, please. The key word is un.
Ya'ni bunda o'zbek tilida so'z topa olmadim. Menimcha raznorobochiyni nazarda tutyapti Brigita xonim. Yo, raznorobochiyda bu.
Jismoniy mehnat bilan shug'ullanadigan shaxslar.
It's people who do physical, manual, unskilled. I mean, I keep saying this over and over. The word is unskilled labor in agriculture and in construction. That's it. That's the definition of what I'm talking about. No skill, no skill, just a school education, people working with their hands. Does that make sense? Okay, everybody clear? Nargisa Jan, you are also clear? Okay.
Ha, menga hammasi tushunarli. Ya'ni oddiy mehnat, jismoniy ish bilan shug'ullanadigan.
and who have no skill. I mean, I keep repeating that. I want to hear that from you. No skill. Unskilled. This is a global term. Unskilled.
Brigita xonim madlikor demoqchilar adashmasam.
Okay. Great. Okay. Now, one more clarification. I just want to make a clarification on what Nargiza Jan said about we are not writing the names of NDU members who are in red and blue, and we are putting a circle in that color, right? You have all these markers in different colors, right? You have big markers. You have these markers, these kind. They're thick markers. They're not like a normal pen, right? Look at those, the marker. You see this marker in my hand? Okay. Marker, red, blue, right? I want you to use these markers and I want you to circle, put a circle around the name of the MDU members. Okay, the members in green, the office bearers in blue, and the MCA in red. You don't need to write, you need to circle, okay? Trust me on this, there's a reason I'm doing this. Okay? Clear? Okay, so you've got a lot of stuff going on that you have to take care of to set up the next meeting, right? And that's really important. Okay. Okay, wait. I need to tell you, I'll take your question in a minute. Just wait. There's one issue I forgot. Okay, you are going to get the head of household, and those will be all men. Men. But you have 15 women who are also MDU members and office bearers. Please make sure when you circle to indicate it's a member, right? You put the symbol for woman. You indicate that it's a woman, right? Her name will not be there, only her husband's name. But you need to tell us who is the woman in this. Okay, Nargiza, can you repeat what I just said? Nargiza Jan, can you repeat this in your own language?
Hozir siz mana bu kartochkalarda yozilgan ism familiyalar to'g'risida gapiryapsiz, to'g'rimi?
The names are the men, yes, correct.
Hozir asosan erkaklarda ismi xo'jalik boshi sifatida yozilgan bo'lsa, demak atga qanaqadir shakl ayol yoki erkakligini aniq ko'rsatuvchi shakl qo'yishimiz kerakligini topshiryapsizmi?
And if it's a woman member, right? So we know, so this way we will know the male MDU members. Where are they in this classification, and where are the women? Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's clear. Now I think there was a question from Andijan. Go ahead, please.
Xonim, hozir aytib o'tdingiz, mavsumiy kalendar tayyorlaymiz. Bunda shu qo'l mehnati bilan shug'ullanadigan 6 tadan 8 tagacha jismoniy mehnat qiladigan odamlar jalb qilamiz dedingiz. Buni sababi nima? Nima sababdan buni qanday tushuntiramiz? Nimaga kerak deb so'raydigan bo'lsa, MTG a'zolari.
Yeah, very nice question. Very good question. And the answer to your question, my brother, is the following. We would like to understand, right, the seasonality of work in agriculture, because a lot of people find employment in agriculture. So we would like to get a better sense of when people are busy working on different kind of crops. And so this is why we would like to work with unskilled labor right here, to better understand the agricultural seasons and to learn from them more about their lives, because a focus of our program is to make sure that the voices of people who are low income and in need are heard. Okay, so we want to learn more about their lives. That's the reason. Okay, the point is, remember, this project is about providing infrastructure, but making sure that the voices of low income and in need people is heard. And so to do that, we need to know more information. This way we know when to properly hold the meetings, when it's the best season not to have meetings, when it's a season to have meetings. All those things we will learn from the seasonal calendar.
Tushunarli, rahmat.
Bizi jamoadan bitta aniqlashtirish uchun bitta savol chiqdi. Oxirgi sizni gapingizdan kelib chiqqan holda, ya'ni bugungi farovonlik tahlili bo'yicha hali siz aytdingizki, ya'ni yerda, ya'ni kartochkalarga yozgan holda aholi bilan asosan yerga shu kartochkalarni qo'yib o'rganamiz va keyin ofisga kelganimizda buni flipchartga ko'chiramiz. Shunaqa qilishimiz kerakmi?
Yes, and yes. And you need to be very careful that you have the cards bundled in the right category, right? So when you have the better of category, you put a rubber band. Okay, the most important tool you're bringing today are rubber bands. Rubber band, right? So that you can bundle all the people in need, low income, middle. They need to be bundled, right? So that you don't mix them up. So what you have, I don't have any cards in front of me, but you basically have a card on top that says better off, okay? And then underneath it, you have the criteria, and underneath it, you have all the cards of people, households. So you have a bundle that is better off, and a bundle that is middle, and a bundle low income. You can ask the monojots, and you can ask Ilham Jan. They know how to do this, okay? Nagiza Jan, go ahead, keep asking. Is that help you? That point? So yes, and then you take the cards to the office and you make the poster. That's right. If you want to be really safe, listen, you can do another thing. You can do another thing. You can say, all the cards that are better off, I'm putting a 1 in the right top corner. All the cards that are middle, I'm putting a 2. All the cards that are low income, I'm putting 3. And all the cards that are in need, I'm putting 4 in the top right corner. And then it doesn't matter if you mix them up. But you need to label or bundle them before you take them home. Okay? Is that clear? Okay, can I get someone from Andijan? Can I get some? Yeah, Andijan, I would like Andijan to please explain this in their own language. Someone from Andijan, this lady in the beautiful yellow dress, if she can come up and explain this to us in local language, that would be really great. She's surprised now. Okay.
Assalomu alaykum. Brigita xonim, hozir biz tushunishimiz bo'yicha kartochkalarni tayyorlab, uni shu rezinkaga bog'lab tayyorlab olar ekanmiz. Keyin savollar har xil tug'ilmasligi uchun iloji boricha haligi nima kam ta'minlangan yoki boy kambag'al deb yozmasdan raqam qo'yib o'zimiz uchun aniqlab olishimiz mumkin ekan. keyin u hammasini kelib bu yerda keyin tahlil qilib kartaga plakatga chiqarishimiz mumkin ekan. Plakatni ko'tarib yurishimiz shart emas ekan. To'g'ri tushunganmisiz?
Thank you. But what I meant was you can actually put a little 1 on all the cards in the better off and a little 2 on all the cards, each card, so that in case your rubber band comes loose, you at least have some way to identify, right? Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. That was a really nice explanation. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you, Appa. Okay. So is everybody clear? Is everybody clear? Okay, there's one more question. I see my colleague from Fergana. Go ahead, please. Yep.
Fasilitator.
Assalomu alaykum. Brigita xonim, men Valiyev Sherzod, qishloq fasilitatoriman. Uzr, endi savol ustiga savol yog'dirib yubordik. Faqat men so'ramoqchi bo'lgan narsam, o'sha siz aytgandek 1, 2, 3, 4 qilmoqchi edik o'sha oxirida, lekin ungacha ham oldin birinchi borganimizda muhokama qilamiz, ular bilan muhokama qilamizki, indikatorlarni belgilab olishda. O'sha indikatorlarni belgilab olishda muhokama qilgan vaqtida biz doska ishlatsak bo'ladimi? Doskaga misol uchun plakatni tayyorlab borib turib, ana shu joyga indikatorlarni xalq a'zolari bilan birgalikda yozsak bo'ladimi?
You can. Yes. Yes, you can. You can.
Yerda emas, shu doskada. Rahmat, mana shu javob kerak edi menga.
Fine. But you can use the whiteboard, but eventually you have to lay out the cards in the matrix on the floor. But yeah, you can use the whiteboard also. Okay. Great. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, good. So if there are no questions, Monojot and Ilham, if you call me, please call me. If there's anything you think that is a crucial question or a real problem, you call me, okay? I will keep my phone next to me and I will wake up if I have to, no problem. And by the time you're in the village anyway, it'll be very early morning, 5, 6 in the morning. So call me, okay? Okay, so I'm going to let you go and continue to prepare. I wish you all the best of luck. Take a rest, have a good lunch, and good luck to you. Okay? Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Okay, bye.
She's already gone. Left the meeting, yeah. As far as I know, yes. 10:30, 11, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So have a nice day. Thank you.
Aka munosibda sizlarni mumkinmi? Bugungi sessiya tugadi.